Hey, what's up, traders? This is the watch list video for Wednesday, February 22nd. The SPY kind of trying to roll over here. The Dow was down about 700 points. If I show you the intraday, for those of you that weren't there in chat, just a slow bleed, just no bounce whatsoever in the market. Somebody asked me about one of my posts in chat today. I don't usually do this in the watch list video, but it shouldn't take very long, so I'm just going to do it. They asked about ATLX. Was very, very strong today, and I had mentioned, or maybe mentioned it in the right. I was lamenting pulling a bid, and I said I had a bid at $10.12, and I pulled it, and they wanted to know two things: one, why I had the bid there, and two, why I pulled it. It was at this point where I put the bid in because it had the initial pop, then a secondary move, then it took out this high right here, pulled back. And then at this point, time of day played a factor. It was getting near 2 o'clock. I thought, okay, bulls are definitely in charge here. So this was the point where I thought I'm going to bid on a pullback. I'm starting to believe in the strength. It's bouncing off the 520, 5-minute candle, 20-period moving average, right? Holding up really well, and the market was ugly. Why did I have a bid at 10.12? It was kind of a fives buy zone, and I had a bid there, and I also had a split bid. I had another bid at 991. So in case it turned in front of the whole number, I wanted to get some, and then I also loved it at 991, which would have been right back around the 520. And so here's what happens. Somewhere like about this candle, I pulled the 10.12 bid. I got rid of it and thought I'll just take the 991 fill, right? Guess what happened? Never broke 10, but it did get down to 10.08. So I would have had my 10.12 fill. 991 would have never been filled. So it was one of those split bids. No reason whatsoever to pull that bid. I just did thinking, okay, the market's weak. It's probably going to flush 10, and then I'll have a better fill than the average between 10.12 and 991. I hope that makes sense. Really no good reason to pull it other than I was thinking, well, I'll still get filled on the 991. I didn't. This is aggravated because from the 10.12 would have been filled, you can see what it did. It went to almost $12. Would have been a day maker for me, right? Anyway. So that's my answer. Let me know if I didn't properly answer it. But that's my answer on why I was thinking bid there and why I pulled part of my bid, right? It was a split bid. Anyway, this is certainly something I'm watching tomorrow, ATLX. So it's on the watch list because you've got a high here, lower high, another lower high. Nice volume today and really strong compared to the overall market. So that's one of them that's on watch. A lot of potential bounce plays. So Dash, DASH is one of them. Back down into support after earnings, 2 nasty days. Pretty good setup for a potential bounce. TTD had the big breakout 4 sessions ago. Has been straight down ever since. Back down to the 8-day. I'm going to put that on bounce watch. You guys know, you guys in chat know that I only take these with a proper intraday setup. SOBR has been really strong. Now you got 2 days down in a row to that buy zone area that we like. IREN, kind of you see a theme here, right? Strong stocks pulling back with the overall market. That one goes on watch. Disney, you can't really see it here, but it's right at the, I don't have the 200-day on here, but it's right around the 200-day and the 50-day. And it had earnings, a couple weeks ago that went to 118. Now it's all the way down to 102. I think that Ant-Man movie put in some good numbers on this weekend. So anyway, it certainly oversold at a couple moving averages that are interesting. The 50 and the 200-day, again, you don't see them on this chart. So I'm putting Disney, DIS, on bounce watch. SLQT has been really strong, has support in this area, and it's down to that area. And you could argue, hey, maybe it fell with the overall market, right? FSLY, very strong stocks, been down a couple days. I'm putting that on bounce watch. RBLX had the gap up. Now this one, it's a little uglier because you had the gap up and it's just completely fallen off the map since then. But it's still, to me, oversold in the short term. So and it's down here at the 20-day, so it could give a bounce. AMCX had the big breakout on Friday. Gave a lot of it back, but if you still count the gap, it's still only a partial retrace. So I do think it's worth putting on watch. I believe they had pretty good earnings on Friday. So KPRX, kind of a sleeper, had the big run here, had the bounce on Friday, and kind of a quiet inside day. It only traded 220,000 shares all day. That's why I call that one a sleeper, though. ATLX, already talked about that one. And then lastly, INZY had the gap up, sold off. The next day, gapped up, sold off. And then today, in a weak market, pushed higher. So that one goes on long watch. We'll also add gappers in the pre-market to this list. And then real quick, in case you're seeing one of my videos for the first time, this is an explanation, of what we do, kind of how I trade. And none of this is investment advice. I'm a day trader. So everything I've just shown you are possible setups, or I should say decent in-play stocks that may give A+ setups on an intraday basis, because that's how I trade intraday between the bells. All right. So pause the video if you haven't read all that, read it. It's a quick explanation of what I do. And that's it for me. I'll see everybody in the chat room in the morning.